Hello there, my name is Sauce, and today I'm going to be giving you the tutorial for this 3x3 glass nether portal door thing, kind of. So I was originally going to call it a hidden seamless glass nether portal door, but it's not really hidden. But anyways, this is basically how big it is, and this is it working. And as you can see, it is completely seamless, even behind the portal when there are no visible pistons to be seen. So that's always cool. So over here, I just have the dimensions laid out. So this right here represents your floor level. These 3 blocks here is where the portal is going to be. In terms of size, it's 11 blocks long, 5 blocks deep, and 8 blocks high for a total of 440 blocks in volume. Not including what's in my hotbar. These are all the items and materials that you're going to need for this. So you're going to need 21 redstone dust, 22 redstone repeaters, 3 comparators, 48 observers, 2 transparent blocks. These can be upside down slabs, but I'm just using light blue stained glass. 3 target blocks, 3 powered rails, 2 dispensers, 1 dropper, 1 hopper, 1 cauldron and some water to fill it with, 13 regular pistons, 38 sticky pistons, a lava bucket, a flint and steel, a non-stackable object. I just chose a wooden shovel because it's cheap, 9 obsidian for your portal, 9 glass to cover your portal, a stone button or any other transparent object that can redirect redstone, some form of input, and I'm just using a lever, and a whole bunch of blocks of your choice to build with. So why don't we get started? So we're going to get started with the piston layout. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to build our portal. So we're going to want 3 blocks like this, and then we're just going to want to build a standard 3x3 nether portal, except we're not adding the corners, so just like this. And then you're going to want to place 2 dispensers here in the back, just like that, for our lava and for the flint and steel to light the portal. And then you can fill in the back here with blocks. And I'm just going to grab the glass over here. So we're going to want to come over this way and then place some of the glass right here. And then we're going to want to place some sticky pistons like this, some regular pistons, and then some more sticky pistons. And what these are going to do is these are going to create the folded triple extenders. So if I actually grab a block of redstone, how these are going to work is that's going to be spat out, this is going to be pushed over, and then that's going to be extended just like that. And as you can see, the glass is there. Now we're going to want to build the exact same thing on this side. So we're going to want 2 more sticky pistons just like that. We're going to want 2 regular pistons, and then 2 more sticky pistons like that. And as you can see, this will also work as a folded triple, just like that. Now what we're going to want to do is build the double extenders back here. So I'm just going to temporarily remove these blocks. And we're going to want a total of 12 sticky pistons right here in the back, just like this. And then you can place these blocks back, just like that. And the last thing that we're going to need is going to be the folded triples down here. And I'm actually just going to remove this, oops, because, so for down here, we're just going to need 3 more pieces of glass like this. And I'm also just going to fill in this right here with blocks. And then we're going to need to build another folded triple right here. So it's just going to look very similar to the other ones, just like that. And then lastly, I'm just going to place 3 scaffolding blocks right there to then just remove them. And we're going to want to build another folded triple right here, just like that. And as you can see, this is the entire piston layout. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to start out with the top. The top is pretty easy. So I'm actually going to clear out my inventory real fast, and I'm just going to go over here and grab some blocks. Just like this, just kind of fill up my inventory. So we're going to start over here with this folded triple. This is where the input is going to be. So we're going to want to come up here, and then we're going to want to place 2 observers like that, and our input's going to be right here. I'm just using a lever, but you can really use any input that is solid and that can trigger an observer, just like that. So then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to place a block right here, and then we're going to want to place 4 blocks like this in this sort of O shape. And then we're going to want a 4-tick redstone repeater right here, and then we're going to want 2 redstone dust right here, and then we're going to want a regular piston right here, and then an observer facing downwards going into these pistons. And I just pushed that by accident. That's okay. And I'm actually going to get rid of this just so I can maneuver a little bit easier. But then you're going to want a observer right here, a block right here, and then a regular piston right here. And the last thing that you're going to want for this folded triple is an observer facing downwards right here, and a repeater on 4 ticks. As you can see, if I flick this, if we actually just reset properly, that is. As you can see, we now get that folded triple extension, just like that. So what we can do right now is quickly build the folded triple on the other side, and we'll hook it up later. So again, it's going to be a very similar thing where above this piston, we're going to want an observer right there instead of 2. And then we're going to want another O shape made out of blocks, a 4-tick repeater, 2 bits of redstone dust, and we're going to want a block there. And then what we're going to want is another piston right here with an observer facing downwards right there. And then we're going to want an observer right here, a solid block, and then a regular piston right there. And lastly, we're just going to want this observer facing downwards with a 4-tick redstone repeater on here. And as you can see, if we update this, we get that second folded triple. So now both of the top folding triples are done, and we can work on the double extender right up here. So what we're going to want to do is, I'm actually going to temporarily remove these blocks, because we're going to want 6 observers facing downwards just like that. And we're going to want to place back our sticky pistons and our solid blocks. What we're going to want is to put 3 powered rails up here. We're going to want 3 repeaters, and I'm just going to quickly do that. So all of these are back like that. And then we're just going to want 3 blocks with redstone. And we're also going to want a 4th block right there with redstone for the input. So for that input, we're actually just going to want to come from this observer right here and then place 2 observers facing downwards. And then what we're going to want is 2 blocks like this. We have this here to redirect. Well, we have this here, but we want it to be redirected. So I'm just putting a piece of redstone right there. And then what we can do is grab a sticky piston, place it facing upwards, and then place an observer right there. And that actually is pretty close. The last thing we need is just a system that will actually retract these pistons when they're here. So that's pretty easy. All we need to do is place an observer right here, a block right here. Then we're going to want a repeater on 3 ticks and a repeater on 1 tick like that. And then we're going to want a sticky piston right there with an observer on it. If we actually give this a flick, you can see our glass gets pushed out just like that. And I'm just going to update this to push back the blocks. And if we flick it again, as you can see, the glass gets pulled back. And I can just update this again. And it's completely seamless. So now all we need to do is hook this up, and it's really easy because we can just take an output from this repeater right here and then have that go into a block. And then we're going to want to grab our glass or upside down slab or whatever transparent block you're using, place that there with a piece of redstone on top of it, and then place an observer. And that is going to be the entire top section. So if I give this a flick, as you can see, the glass gets extended out. And if I flick it again, the glass gets pushed back in. And it's completely seamless, and there's no like visible pistons or anything. So now what we're going to want to do is actually, I'm just going to quickly build the circuitry for this dispenser right here. This dispenser is going to have the lava bucket inside of it. So if I just grab the lava bucket, you can just place that there. And it's pretty simple. All it is just a regular piston right there, an observer, and have that go into a block. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire top. So now what we're going to want to do is build the folded triples down here for the bottom, because obviously we need these to activate as well. But it's very easy, just like the ones up here at the top. And just like before, I'm just going to temporarily remove this just for ease of building. And what we're going to want to do is come below this regular piston right here, place an observer, and then we're going to want to grab a sticky piston, have an observer on it right there, and have that go into a block with another sticky piston with an observer on it, then have that go into a block right there, and then place a repeater right there. And then we're going to want to have that go into a block, and then have another block right here with a 4-tick repeater. Then we're going to want to grab the target blocks and place a target block right there. And then we're going to want to place 3 blocks right here, redstone, a repeater on 1 tick, and then another piece of redstone. And then we're also going to need an observer facing downwards right here with a 2-tick redstone repeater on it. Then we're going to want an observer here and an observer here and have that go into a block. And then lastly, we're going to want to come behind this sticky piston, place an observer right there, a solid block, and then grab a regular piston and place it right there. And that's going to be this entire bottom folded triple. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So underneath this regular piston, just place an observer, a sticky piston facing downwards, an observer, and then have a block right there with another sticky piston and an observer. And then you're going to want 2 blocks like this, a repeater on 1 tick, have that go into a block which goes into a repeater on 4 ticks, and then have a target block right there. Place the redstone and the 1 tick repeater, just like this, and then have an observer facing downwards with a 2 tick repeater on it, with 2 observers, and then a block right there. And lastly, just place an observer behind the sticky piston with solid block, and then a regular piston just like that. And that's actually going to do both of the folded triples on the bottom. So if I give this a flick, as you can see, both of the folded triples on the bottom actually do their thing. Now, I actually made a mistake in the beginning when I said I was building the piston layout, and I forgot the 6 sticky pistons that need to go down here for this double extender, just like that. So be sure to add those and don't be dumb like I was. So now we actually need to wire these up, and then we can call this thing done. So it's pretty simple. So first we're just going to build the wires that go into the pistons. So you're going to want 2 blocks like this. You're going to want an observer right there. And then you're going to want an observer right here, and don't create a clock by accident. And you're going to want another observer like that, and have a similar thing on this side. And then you're going to want 2 observers like this, and then an observer facing downwards right there. And I'm just going to quickly reset all of this because I made a big mess here by accident. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take an output from here with a sticky piston, place an observer right there, and a block, and we're actually going to need one of our redstone comparators right there. And the reason why we need this comparator is, actually, if I come over here, so if we have a sticky piston with an observer input going into it, and it's going into an observer facing outwards from the piston face, like this, and I place some repeaters here, if I actually give this observer an update, as you can see, it fires on the first edge like it's supposed to, but as you can see, it also fires on the second edge, which we don't want. But if we actually place a comparator here, as you can see, it fires on the first edge, but it does not fire on the second edge. So that's why we need that comparator there. So we're going to place that comparator, and then we're going to want a 2-tick repeater right there, just like that. And then we're going to want to have that go into a hopper dropper monostable, which is pretty easy to build. So you're just going to want a dropper facing upwards and a hopper. And then we're going to want to grab our non-stackable item. Again, I'm just using a wooden shovel because it's really cheap. And then you're going to want a comparator coming out of that, and make sure that this comparator is on subtract mode. That's super important. And then you're going to want to place 2 bits of redstone right there, and you're going to want to grab another target block and place that there. Then you're going to want 3 repeaters right here, all of them set to 3 ticks, just like that. Lastly, what we need to do is, well, actually, let me just demonstrate real fast. So if I actually power this, so let's just say that these pistons have been pushed over like this, and they're up like this, and our glass is here. If I power this, as you can see, it pulls down these pistons and then pulls them down again. But when we're on the opening edge, we only want these to extend. But as you can see, if I actually fire that, these fire twice. And that's because of this here, which normally is used to fire it a second time when the door is opening. So in order to prevent that from happening on every single edge, you're just going to want to place a comparator into this comparator with a subtract mode. And then you're going to want to grab the cauldron and obviously the water to fill it. You have to make sure that it is full, just like that. And you're going to want to place a sticky piston facing downwards like that. And because we're on the open edge, just like this, we want this to be not on the piston. But if we were, like if the door was closed and we were on the closed edge, then we'd want this cauldron to be up here. So to power this, it's pretty easy. You're just going to take an observer output from this repeater right here. You're going to want to place a regular block right there, and then one of the transparent blocks, just like that. Place redstone on all 3 of them, and have that go into a block. And we are pretty much almost done. So if I give this a quick test, as you can see, the entire thing closes up, and it's completely seamless. There's no visible pistons or anything like that. And if we flick it again, as you can see, it almost worked. So as it turns out, I'm just a gigantic idiot. And while I was testing this, as you were seeing, I accidentally left this unstuck from the piston. It's super important that that stays right there on that edge, or else it'll completely break itself. So with that very glaring obvious issue out of the way, as you can see, when you close it up, it's fully closed, no pistons or anything. And then when you open it up, it's also completely seamless. But we of course are missing something, and that's the actual portal. And what we're going to do is just put the flint and steel inside of this dispenser, and hooking it up is really easy. So what we're going to want to do is just take an output from this repeater right here, and you're going to want to place a piece of redstone on top of that, and then place your transparent redirection block right there. In this case, I'm just using a stone button. And then you're going to want to place another block right here and have a 4-tick repeater on that, just like that. And that's pretty much the entire thing done. So we just close it up real fast. As you can see, we get a portal as well. And if I flick it again, as you can see, everything all opens up. So given that this is my first tutorial, I really hope you enjoyed and learned something from this. Hopefully it will be a little bit better in the future and I won't make so many mistakes, but that's about it for now. See ya.